This unit we have here is called Rescue 9. This carries a lot of our oxygen bottles. It carries some oxygen for us. It's also carrying the hearse tool and all of the equipment we need, the firefighters need, to extricate people from trapped cars.
Wow.
That's its primary function. If you scan over there, you can see those lights on the ground that are flashing right now. All those that's how we set up a landing zone at night. It's a life light.
Oh, really?
With those so that they can see daytime, nighttime.
Oh.
So that life light gets a better visual.
Now, does Lifeline go anywhere in town, or is there a specific place that it can land? That it only lands?
We have to have a 60-foot radius
okay.
to set them down. So, and we have to be careful of power lines and other obstructions. So we put them down on the highway. We'll put them down in Farmers Field. One of the schools, we can put them down in the ball fields.
Wow. So there's various places that you can do that.
Various places we have managed to put Lifeline and have Lifeline land to pick up patients.
Wow. Wow. So can you give me a little idea of the different equipment that you have in the other trucks?
Sure.
Okay.
Let's walk this way. And we'll take a look at some of these other pieces of equipment. And of course, as you see on the back wall, are the turnout gear that the firefighters wear for house fires. As you see, this is E92, that's engine 92. This is what
you guys want to jump in one of these and
carries the firefighters to the scene.
Let's go over this one. This one's the coolest one over here.
Room for 2 up front, 3 in the back. Notice the air packs are in the seats.
Oh, yeah.
So they can put those on en route. Okay. This is an engine because it's one of the pieces of equipment that we use when we fight fires. Hose lines up here, which is we pull to make entry into homes, barns, whatever the building might be. This unit up here is called a suction unit. That's so we can draft out of a river or creek if time prevails and allows us to. Deck gun, which gives us more water pressure, more water for larger fires. Tools that we carry on the back. As we lift this, there's 4-inch hose. That's for supply line. That's hooking up to a hydrant and actually moves. It doesn't move the hydrant, but it moves the water sufficiently, so it's like taking the hydrant and putting it right next to the fire engine. And then a little bit larger fires, we have 2.5-inch hose for fighting bigger fires.
Say hi, Chief Eckhart.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, sweetheart. How are you?
Give him a high five. Give him a big high five.
Give me a high five. Give me 5.
She's like, I'm
No.
shot.
No, don't want to. Okay.
It's a camera.
That's fine. More air packs and spare bottles.
Wow.
Good. Get the suction hose.
I'll take it down.
Power saws for cutting holes in roofs. Fire
Let's go around to the
extinguishers.
other side here and I'll show you that.
We also have gas for the power saws, chainsaws, and the like. This is called a foam nozzle.
A what?
Foam nozzle.
Oh, okay.
So if we need to foam down a car or foam something down,
And why would you foam it down?
it could be that it's on fire, and because of the chemicals that are burning, we have to use foam, which actually smothers the fire, similar to what you do at home when you put baking powder on a grease fire.
Okay.
Same thing. Hoses. And room for the people to sit. This is another engine. This is engine 91. Virtually the same thing as engine 92. Other than engine 92 was purchased in 1991.
Oh wow, so it's going on 20
When
years.
I was fire chief here the first time, that's the last piece of equipment I purchased before I left and went to another agency. So, engine 92. This is a water tank. This water tender was purchased off levy funds from the last levy.
That is very impressive.
As you look in the brochure, this is about a $250,000 piece of equipment. And I can't remember what we bought it. They bought it for 90. Chief, how much was this? 50? $50,000.
And what would it go if it was free now? I mean, if it was new?
It would be in the $300,000.
Oh my
close
gosh.
to $300,000.
What a deal.
Yeah, very much so.
So you're saving the taxpayer money.
This is not the only water tender. We refurbished one, bought one other, all used, all saving as much money, but yet doing the job we think needs to be done. We also put a new box on Medic 92 to make it last a little bit longer out of the last levy, option levy funds.
So the money is really being used well.
It is being used
and really,
very well.
really dispersed around for a lot of things,
Yes.
not just one.
When you read the when you read the brochure, you will find that the engine at Buell was purchased from Tualatin Valley Fire and Rescue at a used engine that they had, but yet it would do everything that was needed for this agency.
It's
Bought
great.
it used and saved money.
It's great.
The air packs that we need to buy, we can't buy those used. The ambulance we need to buy, you can't buy that used. Ambulances, based upon their nature and their usage, when they start wearing out, you wear out the undercarriage, the frames, the springs, and it costs way too much money to try to refurb that. Hopefully, the plan is that that engine or that ambulance will last 10 years. They're not cheap. We put a lot of wear and tear on them.
Yeah, well, they're going fast all the time.
They're
So,
always the emergency equipment that the fire agency has never gets time to just set and warm up.
Right.
When you
I
need
get
it, it needs to get out the door and
Right.
get there.
To save the lives.
Right, and then it needs to set and idle quite a bit because you got the lights to protect the scene, to keep people from driving into it. Different things that are going on. So not only do they giddy up and go quick, but then they also sit and wait for a long time sometimes.
So that's a lot of wear and tear
It's a
on
lot
there.
of wear and tear. Out here on the highways, you know, we got to keep the lights going in order to hopefully keep people from running into it.
Right.
Or running into the scene or hurting somebody else. So the apparatus sits there and idles with all the red lights going.
Right.
So,
Wow.
it's tough on them. It really is.
Well, these are like things that people don't think about.
Right.
You know, and so it's good to hear the different things and the reasons why that you need to buy a new one rather than, you know, getting a refurbished one, which you can't.
You can't.
And I can see why.
You could in an ambulance, but as much use as these guys have for these ambulances, it wouldn't pay.
Right.
They'd be broke down more than
Right.
you'd be able to use them. So
Right. And that's a life-saving device.
very much so.
And you can't wait for it to get done with a breakdown. I mean, get
that
fixed from a
is-
breakdown.
That is the key to the whole thing. This equipment is supposed to be able to start, run, operate. It's not like your third car that someday you're going to take it out for a drive, but if you go to start it and the battery's dead or
Right.
it's not a big deal, you'll make it work.
Right.
Doesn't work with this equipment.
Right. Right.
It needs to go yesterday.
Well, thank you so much for all this information.
Not a problem.
And it's great to be able to see it up close and hear your reasons for wanting to have this passed.
Thank you.
Thank you, Larry, very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.